Welcome back to the Troubleshooting Like podcast. I'm your host, Craig Poston, with my co-host, Jay Peters, where we talk about various topics, sharing our experiences on life and finance. What's up, man?
What's going on?
Hey, not much. Got another week here, huh? We'll keep knocking them out.
The kids have off for Battle of the Flowers or no?
Yes, they did. Yeah.
You take off with
No, I did not. No, I did not, man. Yeah, so obviously at work, just trying to help out, make sure things get through properly. And that took up, because my plan was to get off a little early.
Oh, yeah.
But that didn't work. So
Nah, it never does, bro. It seems like every time you plan for it, it never happens. So then the days you're like, oh man, I know I'm gonna have to stay late. So it's like some sort of reverse psychology type of crap.
Yeah.
You just doing a Fiesta yet or no?
No, actually, no. Basically, when I got home, it was a crazy storm. That's what it was. Yeah. So when I got home, and we didn't this weekend, obviously, just between cleaning. I think we went to the movies last night, stuff like that. But Super Mario Bros.
Because I've heard some mixed reviews about it. Some people like
it's actually, I don't know. I thought it was good. I mean, the kids were happy, so then it's a good movie.
Yeah.
Kids were happy, good movie. So
I've seen some.
actually,
I don't know what you're talking about. I've seen some crap movies and shows that kids like, and I'm like,
it doesn't matter if they're laughing. Yeah, it's good to go. No, this one, it wasn't bad though. I mean, for a movie about characters from a video game, it's actually pretty good.
It was in the 60s.
Yeah, and it was actually pretty awesome. They kind of introduced Donkey Kong in there.
I saw that in the trailer.
And then they also, I guess, like the Mario Karts. They had that piece in there. Yeah, so like it was some. I thought it was good. Yeah,
I definitely had a lot of good reviews about it. I know, like, some people were like, it wasn't like the reviews were bad. It was like a lot of people were apprehensive of watching it because, I don't know, maybe because it was based off of a video game or people didn't want to support it for whatever reason. But I heard it was good because the other week we watched Creed 3.
Yes, that was good.
You saw it?
No, it was good. So what's that? Basically, that was more like a date night.
Yeah,
me and the wife. Yeah, some the kids were spending the night at a friend's house, so it was perfect. We just hung out and went to go see that movie, and that was a good movie.
Yeah, dude, I enjoyed that movie a lot. I think it was like a lot more story, a lot of good story, especially kind of separating itself a little bit from the Rocky franchise. But of course, having its own like Creed type thing. I liked Jonathan Majors' acting.
Yeah,
not good, really spot on. I like a lot of the dialogue they had between him and Michael B. Jordan's character. Yeah, it was good, and it definitely teaches you be careful who you run with, who you associate with and hang out with, and also realize definitely be thankful that you're for the stuff that you have, because not everyone gets those chances.
I think another one is just over time that person has changed. Is no longer that same person anymore. And that was the thing he didn't realize. I think he was a little weary about it, but then like really finding out in the end is like, no, he's not the same dude I used to run with. That was, that was cool, that had my back. Yeah. Also, the other thing it taught me is I need to work out.
That's why I love watching those movies, because I'm like, man, that make me feel like crap. Because I'm like, damn, bro, you get that big.
Yeah. I would worry about the biggest just being cut, man. Because a boxer, most of the time, they're very cut. Yeah. And and so they train all the time. So then it looks like their muscles are there 24/7. So yeah.
But I agree that like Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors, their physique was like pretty spot on, or like pretty pretty.
So they put some work in. But because I remember when I did a week of combatives, I had noticed a difference in my body change. Also, it was like because I was basically, that's the same thing that was happening, because we were working out, because before you even start rolling, as they call it, or like a sparring, before you even start, you got to do all these exercises. So you basically working out for a good majority. And this class was a week-long class, so skipping a day. I think maybe skip a day, so maybe 4 days. but it was 4 days. And then when I say 4 days, it's like 8 hours a day, and all we did was work out and roll. So basically, it was just switch to a different person. So you were able to do combatives with different body sizes. So you
can adapt.
Yeah, you get used to everybody. So like, if it's a small female to a large dude, because I remember one dude was like, he was like Mike Tyson. You know what I'm saying? I'm like rolling with this dude that's like Mike Tyson. And then when you have to take a punch, because like that's part of it, they had this dude that looked like Donkey Kong. It was like big. I was like, yo, I was supposed to take a punch from him. So it was a good experience. You might hear other service members when they went to through combatives, they might not have had all that. But duty station I was at, like this is almost like the pre to see if you qualify for MMA.
Army edition MMA.
Yeah, the Army. Yeah, and it was like, because it was basically you're grappling mostly, and the only time you really take a punch is that one thing, and it's a thing to keep you from being afraid of getting hit. There's a lot of people afraid to get hit. Yeah. So if you already know what it's gonna feel like to get hit, then you're gonna push through. So like if somebody's trying to punch you while you're trying to grab them and stop them all together, like you're not, somebody tag you and you're like, oh no, let me get this person.
I don't want none of that.
Yeah, no. That wasn't the combo I was looking for.
It's a better Kevin Hart joke. He said he was talking crap to someone and they came out of their car and was like started slapping their V's like they were about to do some like MMA stuff, but he just like backed off and said, "Oh, I don't want that." He's like, "You know something I don't know." So.
Yeah, but no, that stuff is good though. Like it'll help you get rid of a lot of fear, because the whole point was something like that is if you met somebody that you disagree with at just somewhere public, like a bar, whatever it is, right? And it was a way to like kind of subdue this person
without really having to.
Yeah. So you don't. Yeah. So yeah, you basically don't get too physical with them. So like they show you how to. It's like it's the clinch. That's what it's called. Yeah. It was basically like you're behind them at that point, but they can't punch you or do anything. It's basically like
kind of mobilize a little bit, or their range of motion is kind of altered.
Yeah. So then, and basically through that process, the punch is you're supposed to get through it. Yeah. Well, I can tell you,
from experience,
I didn't get him the first time. It was experience. I didn't get him the first time. I didn't get him the second time. I got him the third time. After he was like, "All right, I'm tired of knocking this thing."
You're so petty. It's just like you're talking.
All right.
You're with no sword.
Yeah, they used me as an example of like, when you got that adrenaline running through you, like you don't feel the punches. So like you're like after them. Yeah. So yeah, because I didn't feel the punches. I just know I was getting knocked down. That's all.
I feel the punches. I'm unconscious.
Yeah. I wasn't unconscious, but I was like, oh, okay, all right. I'll go down to my knee, and then I get back up. And then, yeah. But the dude didn't really have to hit me hard. He was big. You're like, nah.
It was just like all mass right there. He was fun.
Yeah. But that was a good experience. But yeah, that's what it made me think about. That's like, dang, I want to get back in that type of shape. But that's hard work.
Oh yeah. Well, it's a lot of dedication. Not necessarily like a lot of hard work, but it's like a lot of course, time consumption, a lot of focus that has to go.
Yeah.
So when you have like everything else and their mother pulling your focus, it's kind of hard to dial into that.
Yeah. But yeah, so I would like to get back, and that's what that movie showed me. And I was like, nah, I need to get back in shape. I need that shape. Yeah.
If I want shape, that's the shape I want.
Yeah, so that was a good one. See, man, you got me off track talking about that movie. That's
absolutely wonderful movie to get off track.
Yeah,
I think the scoring and the audio for it was really good too. I like so at the very beginning of the movie they play the song called "The Watcher" by Dr. Dre, right? When they're younger and stuff, because at that time period was 2002. I think The Watcher came out in like 2001. And then later on in the movie, when Michael B. Jordan's character is working out and doing like the montage, they play another rendition by J. Cole, and it's called Adonis's Interlude. It's sampled the Watchers song, and Dr. Dre also helped J. Cole with that song. But yeah, I thought it was good. I thought that like those type of things, well, because it shows like, you know, at some point, you know, this is what the normal was, right? This is how, you know, when we were boys and stuff, when we were younger, you know, we'll listen to this song, but now there's a change, right? You know, it's 20, 30, however many years it is later on, and something has to flip, right? So this is the new rendition of a similar situation.
Yeah. No, it does remind you, it's like at once you knew this person, but then, you know, you never know when years pass like that. And then his life ended up being a whole lot rougher, right? Like, and when someone they're no longer on the streets anymore, they've been pulled into the good life, you know, they get a little soft, and, you know, like, but he wasn't soft, but because he could, you know, box or whatever, fight, but like soft as in like that, you know, yeah. So like the understanding how you can't trust certain people at certain points in their life, you know.
I think a good part of that, especially at the end when Jonathan Majors' character was like talking to Michael B. Jordan, he was like, he basically, well, that's one of the things I liked about it, is that at that point he admitted that it wasn't Adonis's fault that he was in jail. Because it was already like, yes, at that specific moment, like Adonis probably added to it, but it was his choice to pull out the gun, and it wasn't just him pulling out the gun that forced the jail sentence. It was because he was doing other stuff on top.
Inside of the jail.
So it's, yes, you could blame Adonis. Like, you could say, hey, you're the reason why I went to jail. But in reality, you wouldn't have gotten to jail if all those other things weren't in place. And I'm not saying it's
because
fault either. Like, he definitely didn't grow up in like the best area and the best circumstances or environment. But you can't blame the other people around you for those types of circumstances.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think because he ran, I think that was the other thing. He probably wanted it, you know, if I'm going down, you go down with me. That probably was the other thing too.
Yeah. No, I feel that too. But I mean, that was something that Adonis had to kind of come up with as well, because I think he also felt what's called responsible for Damien's life, and that's why he was giving him all those handouts, or not necessarily handouts, but giving him opportunities that, you know, maybe weren't afforded to him. So yeah, no, I think that was a good thing.
Yeah. Well, and see, that was my thing. I already knew he wasn't gonna get a chance to beat Adonis. It was gonna be a good fight, but you gotta think about it. Somebody that's been training to be an actual boxer versus somebody that was kind of, it's almost like street boxing, right?
You can even tell by his moves, like the way he would block.
Yeah,
it was like different. Yeah, and stuff than like how a boxer would block.
Yeah,
it was like, or unconventional.
Yeah. So then, you know, you got somebody that's been training for years this way, using different coaches, you know, going different places, seeing different styles of boxing. And you got somebody, he's contained in a box, you know what I'm saying? You know, or a building, right? And you only have so many people you can box that has all these different styles, versus you go all over the world and box different people.
Well, my favorite analogy to that type of stuff is like the frog in a well type of thing.
Yeah.
Where you're a frog in a well, and the only view of the world that you have is what you can see outside the well, as in from the very narrow tunneled view. If you were to get out of the well, you would see that the world is a lot larger. There's a lot more things out there. There's a lot more experiences out there. So and no, I didn't actually pull that, but no, I think that's a great way to review why Damien wouldn't have won against Adonis.
Yeah. I mean, obviously they're gonna make it a hero movie too at the end. So like, you know, like, yeah. So, you know, because he's you know, I guess struggling with something internal and external, and because I think his mom was getting sick, everything. Yeah. So yeah. So it's at the end, you know that's gonna happen, but then I'm just using more logic of like, if you were to box somebody, like he would have to keep doing that dirty boxing that he was doing to beat somebody that actually knows how to box. You know.
Yeah, because he probably wouldn't have won that first fight if he didn't do some of the dirty stuff.
Yeah. It made him understand weakness. He looked at like whatever the person's weakness is, and let me drill in on that, and then get them weak, and then I take them out. Right. Yeah. Well, I guess all that to get to our topic for the week. All right, this one here is be the superhero you needed. Yeah, and I know we had kind of switched our title up a little bit, but it was kind of that way I understood it more. Like it kind of resonate with like the past. And I know this is your title, but then it definitely made me think about my past where, you're it's like you're just going. You don't feel like you're in a right direction. You're just going, and you wish you knew the right people, or you had the right mentors. You had the right people in there that tell you exactly, where you want to go, or at least give you this roundabout. Hey, I know, I see you and I hear what you're saying. And if you're talking about this, then you probably should go over here. Like this is where you need to go. This is the right school you need to go to. These are the right people you need to hang around,
And that's the knowledge you would want to, pursue more and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is there, like you said, people you want to talk to or even hang around with just to get that actual knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, for you, I don't know, have you been in a situation where you just wish you had, because you seem like you're going in the right path to me, and I see you almost every day. So,
so like my reason for coming up with the, be the person or be the superhero that you needed was that, there, and probably everyone has gone through this, where there were times that there were lessons learned, like life lessons learned, and you definitely learned them, you could have learned them in a hard way, but what you would want to do is, be the person that you needed, or be the superhero that you needed in that moment. So say if, you see someone that's having a problem, say paying bills, or they don't know how to budget, or, say if it's on the military side, if you see the junior enlisted and, they don't know how to get collateral duties or additional duties, make a difference, make an impact in the unit, right? Those are things where you could be that person. You could have been the person that you needed, right? You could have just put them in the correct path. Like, hey, if you want an additional duty, and if you're great at PT, then you can go run PT, right? Go ask these people, hey, they'll get you situated for that type of situation. If there's someone that's trying to get a house, like, okay, well, this is what I went through when I had to get a house. I've gone through FHA loan, I've gone through conventional loans, I've gone through VA loans. These are my experiences. These are the people I talk to. These are the lenders. These are the realtors. All these types of things that you could have benefited from at that point, but because you didn't, and you had to go through the school of hard knocks, now you can teach others that.
Yeah, I do see that, and that's kind of why I like sharing my experiences on the podcast, is because I felt like I've always took the wrong way and then have to recorrect myself to get to the right way. I guess anytime that you want to be successful at anything, it's never easy.
Yeah.
So it's like you go through all this trial and error, and then just like one of the topics before was like fail fast. Yeah. So like you try to get places so you can, like, okay, this is not working for me. Let me go try this.
Yeah.
Instead of being so conservative about the moves that you take you so long to come back. But then as soon as you you do something really quick, let me try this. Oh, that doesn't work. Let me try over here. Let me try. And that was kind of the thing I did, while I'm growing up, and like I said, it takes a while to even consider yourself really grown, because you go through all these life experiences, you go through the different things, like your relationships, you go through different jobs, you go through, it's all these different things, and they all add a part of you to make you a better person.
Yeah.
As they always say, you put more tools in your toolkit as you keep, living and growing. So
no, I definitely agree. And kind of like going off of what I had typed here is that to be the superhero you needed means to embody the qualities, values, and support that you wish you had received when you were going through a difficult time or facing a challenge in your life. It involves recognizing the gaps or shortcomings in the support you received in the past and taking steps to fill those gaps for yourself and others. So yeah, no, I mean, and that's kind of like the entire premise of this topic. And I think it does help, especially, like say if we're talking about on the podcast, I think you can do it in like levels, as in like how many people can you influence with it. Like of course you can tell your kids, right? Because you've definitely gone through a lot of stuff. You can inform them, I joined the military for this reason. I went through life during these times. I got an apartment. I did all these things, and that's what led me here. And I may or may not want that exact thing for you, like maybe I would want things to be a little bit better for you. So I'll kind of push you towards this, or I'll support you in sports. I'll make sure that your grades are good because, you know, that wasn't necessarily offered to me. I'll give you advice on like whether your college is right for whatever you want to do in life.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's exactly. I'll say the military helped me figure that out too, that I would rather spend a lot of the man hours and the teaching time on my kids more than like someone that's a stranger that I just made family, right? Like, cause everyone that's in the military, you're a stranger at one point, but now you're the brother, sister, the mom, dad, or whatever, you know, whatever, however the level of mentorship you are, but wanting to hand that off to your kids instead was kind of the idea. But like I said, without that experience of being a leader to somebody else, I wouldn't realize that I wanted to be a better leader to my children. So I'm helping them pick out the college, the university, right? College or university, however you want to see it, right? And my daughter, we were sitting down one day, and that's what we were doing. We're like trying to decide. I know she's about to be 11, but the thing is, I'm happy that she's already thinking about this because I put on our mind that, hey, if you want to be an architect, this is the things you probably should be looking at. You know, I'm not an architect, but I am an engineer, so I follow the engineer around with the school for engineering. So like, you know, those are the things. I'm kind of happy that she wants to follow in that same path. You know, not sure where my son's going because he's still young, but you know where he falls in that. But so I agree with what you just said.
Have you ever thought about doing like college tours with the daughter, like while she's still pretty young?
I have, and I'm glad you bring that up because here where we are in Texas, there's a lot of universities around here. So this is probably a great place to like, hey, start it out and just have her go take a look. Because down the street, I say down the street, it's about an hour away. You got UT, the big UT. Awesome. Yeah, so like, you know, and that's probably a really nice university to probably change someone's mind about what direction you want to go. Like, hey, I wanted to go to LSU, but I didn't know we had this down the street, you know, like.
Or even like for something that you were saying, architect and stuff. I heard like UT Austin has like a pretty good architectural program there. So,
yeah.
I mean, I think it's just the exposure. Because, you know, it's great to look at things in paper or on a computer, stuff like that. But I think actually experiencing it and, you know, kind of being in the moment for like at least a little bit to really, because it helps you like really envision like yourself being there, right? Like, hey, I could see myself being in that hall. I can see myself being taught here. I can see myself living in the dorms here, whatever it is. Yeah. I think it's good to, because, you know, we like to say that, you know, kids have a lot of imagination, right? And they can, you know, that's why, like, you know, video games can be good. That's why, you know, playing sports can also help with that. But I think exposing them to those specific type of things that you would want them to go through.
No, that's because my dad has taken me to, it was like his old school. Mississippi State is where he went. And that was probably the only time he's taken me to a university like that. But see, I wanted to do something different, you know, with my daughter where like, we get a chance to see you know, different places, go different places. If we're visiting a different state, let's go check out the local university so you can see what's there. Yeah.
And that's you get a new order or something. You know, go check out like Tampa or Miami or whatever that local college is there.
Yeah. So, and it's just to give you a different perspective because if you only hear about the things that's in your neck of the woods, you'll end up going there and then not trying to explore anywhere else. Because I think, you know, I won't say that was the biggest influence because my dad did mention that. He would mention certain schools a lot and then they stuck in my brain. I was also, you know, looking at, I remember what had me interested also in college. There was a magazine around, but it was from a certain university, but it was their basketball team. And it just, I think that kind of like made me realize also I wanted to go to a university. It was because of like cool stuff like that, having sports around.
Then cultures would be like slightly.
Yeah. But then again, right? So, you know, going back to what we were saying about, you know, someone being a superhero. So like I have people in my path that's can mentor me, right? But then are they mentoring me to what I specifically wanted to do, right? So if you have somebody to come in, swoop in and say, hey, I hear you want to be a mechanical engineer. Guess what? These schools are great for that. Hey, you know, like
this career is it like what it like what you want to do. You know, maybe I have like an intern or someone that does internships for start thinking, check it out. Actually figure out if this is what you want to do. And then if you do want to do, here's the schools, here's the people to talk to. Just, put it in time, put it in the work, and you'll get there.
Yeah, and I mean, that was the same. Like, I have the background to tell my daughter, where I was like, okay, well, if it's a subject that you're weak in, but it's needed in engineering, you might want to get stronger there. All right. So, like, if it's math that you're weak in, okay, you get stronger at math. I mean, because you love science, but then math is you're weak. All right, do a little bit more, and also don't slip on your writing and your grammar and all this stuff. Right. You just make sure you can do it all. Yeah. But it's always going to be a focus. You're always going to be good at one thing than the other, but the thing is to try to like learn how to gain that extra knowledge, right? Fill in those gaps to make you better, and see, that's something I learned as I got older, learning how to fill in gaps, instead of like, oh, I don't know how to do it, it's
I definitely heard that filling in gaps. I forget, it was like I think it was like a podcast or like one of the motivational speeches I was listening to when I was in high school.
Yeah.
And it was learning to fill gaps. And for the longest time, I didn't understand what that meant. Maybe because I was younger, I couldn't fully, I guess, grasp those concepts. But honestly, like, I didn't realize it, but I was doing it. So in my first job, I was working at Peter Piper Pizza over there in the forum, and I would do more than just whatever my position was for that day, because I would do like cashiering, I would do making pizzas, I would help in the game room, I would help hostesses with the parties and stuff. And I would just do it all, right? And I would really care because sometimes I would host, like a lot of times I would host parties, birthday parties and stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would do the game room type stuff. But if I had the opportunity to help other people, and say if other hostesses needed help, if the cashier needed to kind of clear out the line or something, or if people needed to make more pizzas, like I would just do it all, right? And it wasn't because like I wanted to fill the gaps. I just saw that people needed help, and I just kind of rushed in to help. That's just kind of what my personality was, and it is. But no, I definitely, after hearing filling in the gaps and like identifying gaps, just continue to do that. Like, say if you have like new people and you don't really have like a great onboarding program for your team or for your company or whatever it is, then you could take that. If you have the capacity and knowledge to do that, you can take it. Like, you could run them through what our typical day is, what our meetings are like, what our expectations for work are, what are you actually going to be using when you're at work, and that type of stuff. And that, I think those are good gaps to fill, especially when you work for like a smaller company, because they may not have all the processes in place like big companies do.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good way to do something that I think is kind of fairly small, but it has a huge impact.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. Obviously, we run into that with the programmer on, where there's always not a great onboarding for it, which is hard to do, right? To onboard. But the thing is learning where are your gaps and how can you provide value to everyone else, right? And like I said, being on the program that we're on, it actually helped me grow that. Like you said, understand the fact that I need to, fill in those gaps of knowledge, but then making sure I'm providing value to the team at the same time. This is not just for me, so I can go, but make sure I'm doing something for everyone else. Yeah, and I guess I'm not sure if we're on the next one, but provide guidance and advice. Is that?
Yeah.
That's that what we're? Yeah. Provide guidance and advice. Sorry. Drawing from our own experiences to offer practical advice and guidance to others who may be facing similar challenges. Did you say that one already?
No, I mean, we haven't really gone through the list, but I mean, you can kind of go through it. So that was one of the ones.
Let's go.
Yeah. So that's definitely like one of the ones we just covered. Like Craig said, providing guidance and advice. That's kind of part of being like the superhero or the person that you needed. So like going back to like the onboarding thing, there was a lot of things that I wish I knew when I first started that I didn't.
Yeah.
And that would have helped me so much more. Like learning about the infrastructure, learning how certain things connect, learning why these things are connected, what the actual system does, what the customer expects, what the users expect, what you're actually going to be doing as part of that program. So like, what I would do is like, technical exchanges or system familiarizations, where I'll just run over the infrastructure. I would try to run over as much stuff as possible. While it's a lot, I think if the repetition would help people just recognize certain terms, certain things, so that when they're on the system, they're like, oh, this is what this does, this is what that does, this is why I'm on this console and on a Linux box versus a Windows box. But yeah, no, I think the next one is something I enjoy being. It's being a good listener. So to be a good listener, it's about being present and attentive when someone needs to talk or vent about their problems without judgment or interruption. I might remove the problems part because I don't like, and it's not like I don't like listening to problems. It's because I'm a problem solver. That's like my MO. It's like I want to solve problems. I don't want to solve drama. But like I am a good listener to where if you're bringing me a problem, and maybe it's because I'm a more logical person than I am an emotional person, but it's like if you bring me a problem, I'm going to provide solutions. Where I know a lot of people don't want solutions to their problems; they kind of just want to vent it out, and I get that. Right, it's good to kind of get things off your chest. But at the end of the day, if you're not able to solve them, then you're not able to solve, and then you're going to come back with the same problem.
Exactly. You're just spinning your wheels and not going anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Just swimming in a circle.
Yeah, exactly. So I would, and that's the thing I learned, but I learned this from the military. You'll hear this from sergeant majors, right? They say, hey, I'm okay with you bringing me problems, but bring me a solution at the same time. And that way, you're helping out, because if you come with a solution, then you got an idea. The person that's in leadership can see if this is a good idea or not, run it through some other people, like, hey, what do you think about this? Okay, well, maybe we can tweak it. We can turn it to this, and you never know. But if you're just a complete complainer, like, you're not helping anybody, and you could be bringing down the morale of your team or the company or whatever, right? Wherever you sit.
Yeah.
And because that was one of the things I learned, is to stop listening to complainers. Like I'll let them talk, but like, it never sinks in anymore. I think one of my first professional jobs, and I was sitting around a complainer, and that stuff is infectious.
It is.
Like you start, like, all of a sudden I became a complainer. I was started complaining about stuff and thinking my job wasn't a good job. I'm like, why am I here? And then I realized, I was like, obviously I realized it a lot later when I wasn't at that job anymore, but I was just like, So I sat there and listened to somebody else, and then it just, I absorbed that same energy, and then I became the complainer. And that's when I learned that after that is like, hey, you can complain to me all day long. I'm only going to hear the pieces that make sense. Yeah. I tell it it's something personal that you're just complaining about, and I'm like, okay, all right, that doesn't help me here, and it doesn't help you here. So
yeah, no, and I think you have to take it into context, right? As in, like, when you're at work. I'm not saying you can't talk about like personal stuff at work, but they don't expect like all the personal problems to be taken into consideration when there's work to be done.
Correct. Yeah.
So definitely know your audience and know where you're at. But I think the opposite is true too, where like some people just don't bring things up because they either don't see it as a problem, or they don't see it as significant as a problem. But overall it could be, or it might become one. And if it's not addressed early enough, then it might be a problem that a lot of people won't be able to solve.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, I guess overall, right, being a good listener, then that kind of helps you understand how you can help somebody else. Yeah. Right.
And one of my big things is that a lot of people aren't great listeners. A lot of people are good talkers. Like, they like to talk a lot. They like to just say things.
Yeah.
That's what I noticed when I was like really young, is that, wow, like a lot of people just like to hear themselves talk. They just want to, I don't know, converse for no reason. So like I've not always been a quiet person, but I learned to kind of just be quiet and listen, and really pick out what people are actually saying. Is this person saying something worthwhile? Is this person just complaining? Is this person just talking just to talk? Yeah, I think that's what's a good part of being a good listener, is that you pick and choose the information that you're receiving. Yeah,
and the part you got in here too, without judgment or interruption, because like sometimes when you hear that somebody, it sounds like it's full of crap, but you want to interrupt them, you go like, no. I think you have this information wrong. I think you need to, but in reality, if they got the information wrong, or they're kind of seeing it the wrong way, right? Because you might be that mentor to help out with that, and just like, hey, let me correct you. Let them talk it all out, and then when you get to the end and you go like, okay, well, let's start here. You're only thinking this because of this situation. And then if we address that, then you can move to the next one, So I think that whole doing it without judgment, maybe a hard one, but like one is needed. Because especially if it's somebody young, you can always like think, okay, they got a young mentality. That's the problem right now, But then that may not be it. That's just maybe that generation, how they look at things. They look at things from a different angle. And if you can help them correct it a little bit and fine tune it, then that may be something that's beneficial to everybody.
Yeah, especially the earlier the better. The earlier that, because at some point they're going to be stuck in their ways. Right? They're going to feel like it's like normal or okay for them to say or do certain things, and without like certain corrections, you may not be improving the overall situation. And I think that does have, like, a lot of people just don't listen, and they don't actually pay attention to what people are saying, and they kind of just let them do whatever they want, or not necessarily do whatever they want, but just continue to say what they're saying without correction. Or maybe some people are afraid to correct others. But either way.
Yeah.
And then going into the next point is being reliable and trustworthy, following through on commitments, showing up for others when they need you, and being someone that others can count on.
Yeah, I guess that was a big one right there anyway, right? Being reliable is, you say you're going to do something, do it, right? Being trustworthy in your word, right? Say, hey, if I'm going to give you this advice, it actually is something that can lead you in the right direction, Yeah, you may have to fine tune it to your situation, but this can lead you in the right direction. And definitely one of those things is like finding reliable people in your life, right? Hey, can I come to you for advice, anytime, right? And then understanding that they're not doing it from a selfish way. Yeah. They're doing it really to truly help you. Because, I'm definitely at times I felt like it's like darkness, right? You sit alone and you're like, I wish I could do something different. I wish I would do something better. But and maybe if, I broadcast that more to someone that's, I guess has more experience, or someone that could actually lead me in the right direction, which is hard to find too, right? Finding the right people. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have had so much of those days of darkness when I'm just sitting alone, like, what am I doing here? Where am I going? Yeah. Like, and a good thing I kept the mentality of, like, what they say about Michael Jordan. One of the reasons why he was successful is he kept moving. Yeah. He kept moving around the basketball court, getting into a position to get the ball. Yeah. And if I was one of those people that just kind of like, all right, now I'm here, I'm stuck here, and I can't go anywhere, then I probably wouldn't have made it anywhere. Regardless of how long it took me to get to where I want to be, I would have made it anywhere.
Yeah. So like in the analogy of Michael Jordan, where he kept moving around the court to provide more times of opportunity to get the ball, right? So no, I think that's a great thing to do, and especially like with being reliable and trustworthy specifically. One of the things I like to do is so there's a book by Dr. Seuss, and it's also began with, it was Horton Hears a Who, and one of the things he says is that I say what I mean and I mean what I say. And I think that a lot of people need to take from that, because I think a lot of people would just say things just to say things. They may not mean it. They may have said it like an emotional state or whatever it was. But I tend to say things that I mean, and mean things that I say. Meaning, if I'm going to do something, then I'm going to do it. If I'm not going to do something, then I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. And I guess it would get down to our next one, with taking care of yourself, prioritizing your own well-being and self-care, so you can be a strong source of support for others. Yeah. Messing it all up. Yes, that's that's definitely a good point right there. Because if you don't take care of yourself, like, how can you take care of others?
Yeah. No, we've talked about it a few times. About that type of mentality or concept. And one of the things I heard recently was, don't stop trying to fill someone else's cup with an empty one. As in, like, so, be just as a person, right? Say you got work for 8 hours, you got to at the gym, you got to help the kids out, you got to help the spouse out. Like, you're doing a lot of stuff. And if you're one of those people that is like constantly like helping the other person, like say you're helping your team for X amount of hours, you're now helping your kids with their homework, you're helping their spouse with whatever they need. And now you're trying to help like other people, like you're trying to help strangers, you're trying to help other family members with whatever it is. By the time you're able to get to them, your cup is probably so empty or there's not a huge amount of attention, consideration, time, whatever it is for others.
Yeah.
So, but then you're still trying to overdo it, and now you're trying to pour very little into someone's cup, right? And I'm not saying you can't do those things, but I'm saying that so at some point your cup has to be filled, right? You can't just be pouring into everyone else and no one's pouring into you. But it's not like you need everyone to pour into you, but there has to be a point where you kind of say no to say yes. As in, no, I'm not going to do this because I have to say yes, or I don't have to say yes. I'm saying yes to my family. I'm saying yes to, my job. I'm saying yes to me for like my well-being. And now I'm going to say no to you because of those reasons.
Yeah. And I mean, so the thought I have about it is when, like, okay, I'll take it simple as what like my son yesterday, right? He was helping his sister out, all right, clean her room, but his room still needed to be finished, right? He went and helped somebody else, and he still hadn't finished his part, which in a sense, right, I put this deal on them. If they clean their rooms, we'll go to the movies, right? And in a sense, right, he helped his sister get through her time, right? But then now he's stuck with his own. All right, well, yeah, it's all on me now. Now I'm gonna be the reason why we don't go is because I didn't finish my part, my work. Yeah. And I mean, we see this too at us at work ourselves, right? Someone asks for help, but they haven't given anything back to you just yet, right? But you're over here spending the time helping them, but then you got to go like, all right, now I got to get back to my work. All right, my work it has to get done also. And if I don't, now I look bad because I'm not meeting my deadlines that were assigned to me. Right.
That's definitely powerful because I think, especially it happens to a lot of people with your or my type of personality where we're high supportive type of people and we always want to help others, is that it's hard for us to say no to them because we do want to help them and we can help them. Like we have the capacity to help them. We have the knowledge, whatever it is, but then we don't know that because we're saying yes to them, we're saying no to our stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's one of the things too. I just have to reevaluate what will actually take me a lot longer than I think. And sometimes you don't know, right? Yeah. The work we do, you're like, oh, no, that's easy. There's all these little miscellaneous things we didn't account for. Like, oh, okay, well, like how one of our reasons, which shouldn't be a reason, is that our disk drives won't accept all the files off of it, which is weird, right? And you don't account for that, but now you're going to miss your deadline because you hadn't figured out how to get around this situation. Yeah. But I mean, yes, we have other ways around it, but it's just an example. Yeah. When it comes to that too, it's always like make sure you have a good footing before you step off to help somebody else. Well, right? Because I
think like one of the things that someone taught me was like do the yes but or yes and type of thing is like, yes, I'll help you, but I can only give you like 15 minutes of my time. Or yes, and I'll need you to help me with this afterwards if I'm helping you.
Yeah. That's the worst thing is if you fail and you fail only because you helped somebody versus if you failed and it was all you. So that self-care and and well-being, and if you keep it even you just talk about yourself in general, your health, right? If you start worrying about somebody else and you hadn't worried about yourself, think about it. You're telling somebody to brush their teeth, but you hadn't been brushing your teeth, right?
Like, as I say, now what I do.
Yeah. Or what I'm saying, you're like, hey, let me help you get healthy, but then I'm over here eating crap, So it's it's one of those things you just have to take into account for your life if you want to be someone a high supportive person, right? If you want to help people, you just got to understand that you got to take care of your pieces so you don't look like you're just talking out your butt. You do this and this, but then over here on your side you're not doing anything.
Well, one of the things one of my buddies, he works for one of the county sheriff's departments, and he told me a story, right? He told me a few stories about, so like in that area there's a few rivers, and they some people like during the summer or during this time of the year they'll go out, they'll do tubing on the river, they'll just chill on the river. And there was a time where I think a kid had gotten stuck in like one of the undertows or one of the currents and he couldn't get in. So like the dad went out after him And I guess the dad either wasn't of like the clearest mind, or he didn't know how to swim as well as he thought he did. And he ended up pulling the kid out, but now the dad was so weak or so tired that he couldn't get himself out. So he ended up passing. And that's kind of like the situation that could happen, is that yes, you could help him. And I'm not saying don't help the kid, like definitely go get the kid. But also realize that, hey, you should have probably also had someone else go with you, or you should have asked for, some sort of tool, something like another boat, whatever it was,
or backup plan,
with you, because now you're in a situation where, and great, you helped him, he's out, and that's wonderful. It's actually great, but now you can't get out, and your life is alone. And granted, that's an extreme, but I think it's an extreme that some people might end up facing if they continue to do those types of things, where they're not taking care of themselves as much as they are taking care of others.
Yeah. And I guess to, getting down to the end, closing it out, ultimately, being the person you needed means being the kind of person that you would have wanted in your life during difficult times. It's about using your own experiences and struggles to help others and creating a sense of community and support that can help everyone thrive. Yeah, I like that. I like that closing statement. Yeah. All right. And I'm enjoying this. So we're getting down to our frugal and cheap. All right, you got here growing your own vegetables. You should have said fruit.
No.
We had to.
What did you say?
Fruits and vegetables, because we got to grow both, right? Our debate was like, I was talking about tomatoes. I like tomatoes. He was like, that's not a fruit. Doesn't matter.
Well, I said vegetables. But no, it's because, and I think we know a couple people that like they'll grow their own vegetables and stuff. And I think it's cool, like growing your stuff. But I also think it's cool where I can just go to H-E-B and go buy it.
Well, I mean, yeah, but then you also know what fertilizer you're putting and what pesticides you're putting on your fruits and vegetables, right?
True.
So if you were growing them, and then it also gives you this experience too, because like kids think that stuff is fun. Because I remember we were trying to grow an avocado. I thought we'd grow a whole tree, but we were just trying to get the seed to grow, which we actually did. And eventually, it died. We got it going. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. But and then there could be that time too to spend with the family. So, I mean, it's not. I know this is a frugal and cheap, but it's better way. You can use this frugal moment to like help build the family. Hey, you don't have to depend on the grocery store. Yeah. I mean, you can actually go out here and try this yourself. And see, me, I'm from a small town, or I lived with my grandparents that was in a small town, and that's exactly what they did. They grew their own vegetables. Mm-hmm. I remember at one point before they started to get too old, they only went to the store for, I think, milk, because they didn't milk the cows anymore. They had cows, but they just didn't milk them anymore. Mm-hmm. I think it was a few other things, butter, it's certain things that they would go pick up from the grocery store, but they literally had a field, and then they had a lot of land. So they would have corn out there. They have greens, tomatoes. They have all this stuff, right? And you could just go right outside and pick. And that's probably one reason why they call me lazy too, because I'm like, man, this is work.
That's what I'm saying, man.
But then in reality, you look how much you're providing, though. Like you really, especially with this time of inflation, if someone actually had land to grow their own things on it, man, it'd be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Like the only thing is just like preserving it long enough so you can have it during the winter months. So you have to invest in having jars, having mason jars around so you can, preserve all these fruits and vegetables in some kind of way, and then or freezing them, once you pick them. Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's a frugal.
Yeah, I definitely think it's more frugal than it is cheap, because, like you said, it's like you can do quality control on it. I think that's like the biggest thing a lot of people grow. I don't think people grow it to, save the money for it. I think a lot of people grow it to actually have their own quality type of product, and maybe some of them, it's more for a monetary purpose. But a lot of people, sometimes they'll go through like the YouTube rabbit hole, like, oh, there's so many pesticides, there's so many hormones in our food, we should just grow our own type of stuff. Yeah, no, I've definitely thought about it, but like, I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm lazy as hell. I don't want to. I'm good. I'll just go to the store, go buy it.
Yeah, because it's work once you pick it, and then now you have to clean it. So like, yeah, if it's corn, you have to shuck it, and if it's peas, you're like black eyed peas, you have to shell them. You know, and I know they have machines to do all this stuff, but how I learned was by hand.
Something get into the grocery store.
I know, that's why we're so dependent on the grocery store. So if they change things, that's why we're like going in an uproar. Like, oh, why did they do this?
20 more cents? This is crap.
Yeah. All right, man. You want to close us out?
Yes, sir. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening to Craig and I. This is the Troubleshooting Life podcast. We're signing out. See you next week. Please like and subscribe and share out to whoever you think would benefit from this.
All right. See you next week.